was playing during that time in the 1950s? Like the music you like to listen to and stuff.
Yeah, and I notice I listen to it over and over again now. That was, what's this, that man name? And we used to call it, I think, rhythm and blues then.
Yeah.
We called that rhythm and blues. And that was, geez, see that man's face just then. Okay, that was rhythm and blues, and that is when, and all this came on the radio, and this was James Brown, the Blue Notes, very, 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 very soothing, kind of fast, a whole lot of blues.
Yeah.
Definitely blues, yes. A lot of blues. And jazz was always in, but a lot of rhythm and blues, that was more of the fast music,
Yeah.
Now your pop, he knows more. And that came on the radio. And was a lot of, who was this man? They call him Pat Boone.
Oh.
And he's a white man. He tapped the Pat Boone music. I don't know too many of the whites. What is this woman's name? What is her name? The Pips. I forgot her. See, I should have wrote all this down. The Pips, and I have a lot of songs. And at that time, Barry Gordon, he had come in, and as a matter of fact, this other lady, what is her name? Aretha Franklin. That's an old gal in the 50s.
Yeah.
That came on, radio, whatever the top 10 was, and they would, Gladys Knight, that's who her name was. Gladys Knight and the Pips. That one of the old songs that came on the radio. And I don't know what else.
Did they used to broadcast a lot of the news on the radio, like with the like you said, with the civil rights movement and the?
Yes, definitely so. That definitely came on the radio because TV was not. It was not popular then. When I said popular, a lot of people just couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
We had a TV, but the channels were limited. It was the basic, the 2, the 4, the 6, and the 10. There was nothing like it was today. And I tell you, it was Dick Clark. He was the one on the radio a lot, and he was the one that introduced a lot of what we call the rhythm and blues now that came on the radio. And then I tell you another thing too. On the radio, it was a lot of what you call stories. I can remember they called this that came on, and we would listen to it. The Shadow. The Shadow. It was like a series, and if I'm not mistaken, the soap operas, I think they started on the radio because the radio was popular then.
Yeah.
And we used to listen to the Bites. That's on the radio. I remember my father. Unless that could have been the early 50s, because I remember my father used to listen to Bites. Maybe it was the later 40s and the early 50s, and radio was very popular.
Yeah. Did they have a lot of commercials? When they had the radio on.
Yes. A lot of commercials, because the commercials, and if you ask me what kind, I can't remember, but the commercials they were the ones that paid for the radio shows.
Mm-hmm.
The commercials. Now, that's all I can see. Now, you're going to have to kind of look up in the library.
Yeah, I know in class we discussed that about a lot of commercials that they did pay to keep a lot of the radio, like the advertising
Yes.
They paid
Yes.
to have that on the radio and stuff like that.
Yes.
Did they
Yes.
talk about a lot of education programs and stuff on the radio back
Well,
then?
the only education program that I remember, see, that was during that. That was during that during the march that they had down south, and they were and they were marching about blacks riding in the back of the bus.
Yeah.
Now that all came on radio. That was in 1954.
Oh.
56 it had finished. You understand? All of this was on the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's that. Tell her I was in that. Your grandmother was in that. But our music was they call it, I think it was rhythm and blues. I know all my old songs you see Grandma playing there. That's what I like.
Yeah.
Like that's James Brown and gee, I can't think of these other men that and all that was in the 56. Because 57 Melinda was born. 57.
What about the in the late like in the 70s, was radio still sounding the same from the 50s, or it got different?
I think that radio in the 70s had died out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I know it was in the 50s. It was definitely in the 40s because I remember that's when my dad used to listen to the bike. And in the 50s, radio was in because that's when we used to listen to all the songs and everything. I remember my girlfriend Duck. Good God, we used to be dancing. But in the 60s, then you see they had bands.
Yeah.
Understand bands. In the 70s, it was the disco dance.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, that's how that stuff was. You know, now I'm gonna look up, turn on this TV so I can see, and things was just a little different there. You know, now your Papa, he would know more because see, he was up here. I wasn't. Gee, I'm looking at the wrong thing. I wasn't up here, but he was. You know, he was up north. I was down south in the 50s. And it was just a little different. Now, what else question you want to ask? You have to put all this together. Rather.
Yeah. You still listen to the radio now sometime when you're driving?
Oh, yeah.
You still listen?
Do I listen to the radio now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Your daddy listens to the radio. I do because I got 98.7. That's my music station of all my little hip hop and all my music. Then there's the jazz station 88.3, and then your daddy he listens on radio. Now I don't know about then, I can't remember, but on radio now there's a lot of stations that talk about politics.
Yeah.
Now politics. It's politics and it's things that's going on in every community and in just about every nationality. I tell you another thing that's on radio. I guess these are the health programs. The health programs, like they're telling you how diabetes can be, how you can know whether you got diabetes, and what you can use. So I call those the health programs. Then your grandpa, he listens to one every day, and it comes in through New York. I don't know what station that is.
Okay.
I forgot that. So you can say there are a lot of health programs on there. Where years ago, in the 50s, I never remember health programs. So.
Yeah.
See, now that's the difference. They'll tell you about natural remedies to use, natural herbs, and it's more selling. It's more selling on the radio now to me than ever. Selling different products.
Yeah, they have. Do you think they have more commercials now on the radio from?
Yes. It's more commercial. And I tell you another thing that they do, especially for the jazz program and for the oldie but goodies program, they try to raise funds so that their station will be free of advertising.
Yeah.
So when it comes down, Rama, I guess it was more advertising in the 50s than advertising now, because some of these programs now, I know 88.3, and this is this man, he comes on, becomes out, and they're trying to, well, they have bought that station, but they want a higher frequency, and so they have people to send in money, and their goal now is to win $1 million. So you can mention now that a lot of stations are free owned, and they have people who have joined the clubs, and they keep the stations going. Now, that's certain stations. Some is the 88.3. That's the rhythm and blues and the jazz stations. Now, as far as now on 98.7 on a Sunday, and then they have the gospel shows too, and the ministry, and there is a lot of advertising on that. They do sell products on that, because they always have these interruptions. They'll say, now and then they'll be telling you what products to try and buy. They're sponsors, you call them.
Yeah. Is it more difficult now to get the radio stations in? Like, you know how sometimes the towers and trying to find the right station is...
Yes, you tell her. It's very difficult now. Because you can't, a lot of the stations cannot afford what the satellites are offering there. They have to pay so much.
Yeah,
you see, this is why they run what do they call this? They run campaigns to raise money.
Yeah. So
that they can buy a higher power signal. They're doing that right now in this on 88.3, so they can have a higher power, because I guess they own that station, and now what you're saying is you make a good a newscaster, a news person.
Oh, thank you, Grandma.
Yeah, because you're pulling it out of Grandma, and now I'm queuing in, But in the 50s, there was not a station unless they sold a product.
Yeah.
I can't remember what some of the products was, but I know that. But there is a difference.
Yeah.
And now the signals do come in very clear now, because see, they have satellite. Now on TV is completely different. You know that.
Yeah, it is.
Even last week they changed hours to, is this a whole new thing? They must have put another signal, or somebody invented something. It's just like what you got with your cell phones and then Twitter and then Facebook and all that stuff, and you got the internet. That's how smart it is now.
Yeah.
And not only that, even equipment. You say even the equipment. Daddy got so many old what do you call it, phonographs. We got so many different. Don't even pay to buy none. You should see all those old things that he got that we paid. Well, Raoul, you have seen what we have in our house.
Yes, I have.
And the old records and obsolete now, and the tapes. There's no such thing as tapes no more. It's CDs.
Yeah, the CDs.
And what's Rachel got in her ear now? She got what?
Like an iPod.
iPod. We had to race around, what an iPod. Everything is so modern now, And I tell you what else used to on radio. The baseball game. I'm looking at baseball now. The baseball games came on. You would listen to that on radio.
Oh, and will it be live when they be airing
yeah,
it?
and you hear them cheering in the background.
Oh.
Yeah, baby. Cheering in the background, you know. So, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm still here, Grandma.
So things were very slow paced then, you know.
Yeah.
But
Everybody back then, everybody listened to the same stations back then, because it wasn't many radio stations people had to choose from, or it was just.
I think so, because the ones I always listened to the blues, whatever was popular, because I was a teenager then, and I tried, you know, and we listened to that station, but and it was hard to get a lot of static, you know.
Yeah.
And to me, it still seemed to be like that with some of them, you know.
The static.
Yeah, the static. Now I got some blues on there. I got this on TV. Now they got the TV and you can skip the blues station. It comes in nice and clear. I tell you, it's great. You know.
Yeah.
But I like the blues that come on. But I like I got to turn that back. I think it's the I forget how much easy listening. That's blues, jazz. Yes, I like, and you know, somehow you can't think. Oh, you know what? A lot of you could get your religious station. They had those stations that come on with the Christian music. They had that. Now, see, they have the solid gold oldies, then they have the 70s, just like what you were saying, on the TV. You know how in the 80s?
Yeah.
In the 80s and the 90s, and then it's the soft rock, 17. I'm trying to figure out. And then in the metal, the rock. And I don't see classic rock. The reggae.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I like that. Now mine is there's rhythm and blues. Now I like rhythm and this is rhythm and blues. I like rhythm and blues classic. That's my old music.
Yeah.
That's what I grew up. Cool and the Gang and all that stuff. No, that was 1980. They celebrated that. Oh, anyway, these are the places I like that stuff. That music. I look at rhythm and blues, and then they have blues. Now, this right here. No, now I didn't know that. And they tell you, see, Cool and the Gang, that was from the 60s and 70s. Gee, I didn't know that. I thought that was in the 50s. Gladys Knight and the Pips. And what's the man's name? James Brown. He was good too back then. He was good.
What was one of your best memories that you remember with the radio that stuck with you?
Just listening to the good old fast songs, you know. Cause we would dance by it.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, it was one song. Cause I was kind of like you, and we learned this song off the radio, and we had a talent show, and me and these four girls. And we sang that song on the talent show. We didn't win, but we listened to the words, and we used to copy it off the radio, you know, when they would sing.
Yeah.
And we went on the fashion show with that. Not the fashion show, it was a talent show, you know.
Oh.
And yeah, and I tell you, and listen to the radio. Then we would go to the dances, you know, and that was great, you know. And I can't recall no more, but I remember, if I'm not mistaken, I think soap operas came on the radio. We would listen, because I remember my mother would always listen to the soap operas. And it was, I don't remember cartoons being on the radio. I don't remember that. actually don't remember that. All I remember playing the music, you know, when she would get up in the morning. It's like I would always have my music on, like your mother.
Yeah.
Have her music on.
Mama usually.
My mother had it too.
Mama used to have the radio come on in the morning for us to get up. When we got up for school, she'll have the radio on.
She plays the radio.
Yeah.
She plays the music, right?
Yeah.
Now your papa, he just listens to news.
Yeah.
Just listen to what's going on in the world. I can't stand the news. It was actually a listening tool.
Oh.
The radio back then, and things were quiet.
Yeah.
It was quiet because we didn't have what we have now, you know.
Yeah, it's a lot of technology now.
Yes, technology, and I tell you one thing too. But that's why I'm going back to the what war did I say that was? Was that the Vietnam War?
Mhm.
The Vietnam conflict?
Yeah.
See, that was during my days now. World War II, I can't remember. But I remember listening to the radio, and you would get so afraid about when they were fighting because they would announce what was going on over there and how many troops went over. And that was from the radio. It wasn't that much from TV. TV had just come in the late in the 50s, because I remember, I think 52, because I remember Daddy bought a TV, 51 or something like that. I got one of the first the TVs. And who used to come on that show? I think Dick Clark and all of them. That was in the 50s. No, it was the 50s. And it was another man that used to come on. And he died. And boy, that was the ugliest man. He was so stern. But he was good. You know, he was an announcer. Now, that was the TV versus radio. You see? And now when you turn on the radio, you listen to either about health, in the news, politics, religion. It was a lot. You tell her it was a lot of religious shows on then too.
Yeah.
And what do you call that? Gospel singing on the radio. You call them quartets at that time. You know.
Okay.
And now this is another lady. Now this is the staple singer. Now they was 1973. She's of the 70s. So I guess I put all that stuff back in the 50s. But it wasn't. But it was a lot of good music.
Yeah.
And child. The good blues and a lot of good blues too.
Oh.
Yeah. So what else you want to ask me? That's just.
Oh no, that was.
I enjoyed this. Girl, you're gonna make a good one.
Thank you.
And then maybe when Papa comes, you want him to call you?